Hi, and welcome to the latest Facebook Live from Minerva Growth, where we are bringing value to business owners around the UK, but also the wider globe, around topics that we believe will be useful to you right now, but also into the ongoing future. So today I am welcoming Nicola Waitley across to this interview. So Nicola, thank you so much for agreeing to take part in the live chat today. Please, can you introduce yourself and also your business, please?
My name's Nicola Waitley. I'm an independent financial advisor at Waitley Wealth Management, and we're a firm of independent advisors. We're based in South Birmingham. We've got a team of 7 advisors, 4 IFAs and 3 mortgage and protection advisors. And we firmly believe that everybody deserves a secure financial future. We advise on all aspects of financial planning. I specialise in investments, pensions and retirement planning advice, but we do advise on all areas. We take a full holistic approach. I've been in financial services for about 22 years. I've been a financial advisor for over 10 years now. Thoroughly enjoy my job and helping people. So that's me.
I wasn't going to throw you under the bus, but I was going to try and hint around how long your experience is. I know you've got a massive wealth of experience, so fair play for doing that. So first question will be, what made you become an IFA in the first place? What made you get into this type of industry?
So I've got like a customer service background. Even when I was in education, I was waitress, and just loved the people interaction and helping people. So started off working in a high street bank, and from there I wanted to grow my knowledge and understand more about financial markets. So decided to study and become a qualified financial advisor. And it's all about the individuals and helping people that I enjoy.
Okay, lovely. So the topic we've chosen for today is what is more important than protecting your family? Obviously, that's going to resonate with a lot of people right now. The percentage of the globe that's affected with the whole crazy times that we're going through is absolutely huge. So we're experiencing a pandemic. We're in a global lockdown. And also, the thing that's out there is there's a scary number of people who are dying on a daily basis, especially in the UK right now from COVID-19. So, of course, the wider families are being affected in ways that literally a couple of months ago, they would never even have considered. They would never even plan for it. So what, from your experience, can we learn from this?
Yeah, so I think in general across the UK, individuals are sort of really underinsured. People tend to think, I'm not worried. It's not going to happen to me. And I think a lot of people will know somebody that's been affected by COVID-19, not necessarily just passing away, but the sort of bigger economic outcomes, people losing their jobs, etc. So it's a time where people are going to start thinking about and considering what could they have done differently, what insurances could they have had in place, and everybody's circumstances are different. So I think protection and reviewing people's options and their individual circumstances is going to be really key for people moving forward.
Okay, you mentioned then about the majority of people being underprotected. What does that look like from your experience?
So I think considering sort of insurance policies, thinking about sort of standard things like life insurance, people may consider just covering things like paying off their mortgage if they passed away early or if they had a serious illness, when actually a family could potentially need a lot more than just the mortgage paid off. If the main earner in the family was to pass away, it's loss of that income, especially when dependent children are involved. A loss of a parent's income for all of their dependent life could mount up to a serious amount of money. So what I wanted to do is give you a bit of an example of sort of cost for insurance for a policy known as family income benefit. I think this is sort of a very underutilised.
That's fine.
Underutilised policy. And the idea behind it is, like the name dictates, it's to replace an income for a family if it was to pass away. So to just give you a bit of an idea of cost, I've given an example of somebody aged 35, earning £30,000 a year, young dependent children. So a life insurance policy to cover somebody passing away to replace that income and still give the family £30,000 a year as a tax-free income for 20 years would cost as little as £14 a month. What could you buy with £14 a month or protect your family for a policy that could pay out nearly £600,000? You know, it's not all what protection doesn't have to be as expensive as what people think.
That's a huge, it's a very, very powerful example now. So for the cost of maybe Netflix on a monthly subscription and maybe a pint in a pub, I mean, obviously we can't talk about pubs at the moment, it's killing me, but in normal times, the cost of Netflix and maybe a pint of cost of a pint, you could have £30,000 per year for the next 20 years. Crazy. Okay, amazing. So that's families. That's families covered then really well. Thank you for doing that. Who else needs to be thinking about protecting the family? You know, what other parts of the family need to be thinking about this now then?
It doesn't necessarily need to be just young families, like with dependent children, even older generations, perhaps people, you know, post-retirement might be concerned about protecting their family and worried about leaving family with things like funeral expenses and funeral bills. And again, even with some people haven't got any savings available to cover these type of things, or want to leave their savings or their home to their children as legacies. Life insurance policies, taking out a small life insurance policy to cover funeral expenses, again, doesn't have to cost a huge amount of money. So just to give you an idea, a 70-year-old could take out a small life insurance policy, what we call a whole of life policy that runs forever, and is guaranteed to pay out at some point in the future. So to cover £5,000 on a whole of life basis could cost as little as £21 a month. Again, it would take a very long time of paying those premiums before it actually cost them £5,000. So again, very worthwhile. Looking at doing these policies can be left in trust as well, so they can be paid out immediately to beneficiaries. So they haven't got to wait for that money.
It's massive, yeah. It's really resonated with me, and it's such an easy step to take, and it's just that saves all that heartache and all that pressure on the people that are left behind at the end. I get that. So that's families then. Obviously, as a business coach and Minerva Growth, what we do is business coaching, helping businesses out there growing. Business owners are extremely close to my heart. So how does a business owner need to protect themselves and their family and the business?
I think one of the key things with businesses is obviously there's so many different types of insurance policies available out there, and everybody's circumstances are different. So, you know, it's worthwhile people having individual conversations to find out what is suitable for them. But I think one of the key things for business owners is your company paying for your insurance policies for you? You know, most people as an employee can expect employer benefits like death in service policies, like medical insurances, things like that. These are all legitimate business expenses that a company can be paying for, and it can be very tax efficient to make sure that you're putting your life insurance through your business. Some benefits are sort of taxable benefits in kind. So more than happy to have individual conversations with people if they want to understand what's right for them. You know, that's key. As independent advisors, we advise on what is suitable for that person or that business, you know, based on their individual needs. But I think tax efficiency for a business is really key.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Okay, so what other ways should we be looking at to protect ourselves in? What other aspects can we be looking at?
So like I say, there's so many different types of policies, but at the moment I think everybody's sort of very concerned about the short-term impact that COVID-19 is having. You know, a lot of us have had great support from the government in the furlough scheme, where we can claim self-employed directors or 4-hour employees to help cover some business overheads. But then some people have got more sort of longer term impacts of this. So they could be suffering things like redundancy. There's policies out there that cover unemployment, that can help cover the day-to-day bills and cover your mortgage. I think a lot of the things that the government have put in place are going to be short-term, whereas some people are going to suffer from this and more of a longer-term impact. So obviously, old traditional like mortgage payment protection policies are still very important for a lot of people if they haven't got savings around them. Things like private medical insurance as well. Obviously, the impact of COVID-19, the NHS have had to concentrate on that. A lot of normal sort of routine treatments have had to be postponed. Potentially if you had private medical insurance in place, you wouldn't have to have the delay in your treatment, so you can get well and get better more quickly. So people might want to consider things like that. And just general sort of, we've talked about the impacts of life cover. There's obviously more serious illnesses can be covered, things like critical illnesses, and longer term periods off work due to sickness, things like income protection that people should be considering. I think obviously the pandemic at the moment is just making people think about and consider in general, what cover have I got? And if I was in that position, could I cope short term off work? What happens if it is something more longer term that's going to impact me? So I think it's key that people should be reaching out and getting financial advice, understanding their own circumstances in more detail.
Yeah, lovely. I agree. So my next question was going to be, and I think you've just started to cross onto this now. Do you think the situation we're in, the crisis, pandemic, whatever we're calling it, will change people's view on protection going forwards?
I do, because I think most people, whether they've been affected themselves, most people will know somebody that's been affected. So it is a lot closer to home and makes us all think about what we would have left behind if we'd been in that position.
I completely agree with you, and I hope it does change, because the first thing was the absolute panic as we started to come into lockdown and people were furloughed from work, and then realizing what's going to happen, and delays with the government, with there's some phenomenal support out there, but I think it's made everyone really refocus their minds, and hopefully, touching wood, it does change people's views going forward as well. Okay, that's been really, really interesting. I hope that resonates with a lot of people, and a lot of people now. It may spur people to take some action, which is what it's all about. If people are interested in finding out more about Waitley Wealth Management or about you, what do they need to do? How can they find out more about the business?
So obviously, please get in touch with us if you want to know any more details. You can visit our website, which is www.waitleyWM.co.uk. Pick up the phone, give us a call. We're all working remotely, but our telephone lines are still on. Our office number is 0121 285 8528, or you can drop us an email at info@waitleyWM.co.uk, and we'll be happy to have individual conversations with people. Go from there.
There's been a few breaks in the live going through, but I'll make sure the website and all the contact details are included on there so people can find it. It's very easy. Go and just do some research. Very, very useful, very, very interesting. Is there any final quick tips or advice you can give out to people on a general basis now, before leaving them with these ideas in their head and seeing how they can start making some progress on it? What do you think they should start with, or any quick and easy stuff they can do?
So I think, like I mentioned earlier, most people look at protecting their debts, protecting their mortgage. That isn't always enough. So just start thinking about considering your own circumstances. Have you done things like, have you got wills in place? All these types of things are key. I think a lot of people rely on employer benefits as well. We haven't really seen the economic outcome of COVID-19. A lot of people that I'm speaking to are concerned about job security. So what are you going to lose if you lose your job? We move around regularly as well, don't always necessarily take in full detail of what's on offer from an employer. So many employers only offer statutory sick pay nowadays. Could you cope on only £90 a week? There's, all these things I think we don't necessarily pay enough attention to, when this is a time to start reviewing and looking at what's available.
There is one other thing I was going to ask you, and I haven't got round to this, so I'll ask you right now. So, um, I'm guessing out the answer is, but I want you to explain exactly the reasons why. How important is it when I'm seeking out for financial advice that I am going to someone who's independent, or do it not make too much of a difference?
Yeah, so I think insurance providers vary dramatically. The quotes and everything that I've given you are just based on standard health, but people's circumstances vary. So what we do as independent advisors, we take a full holistic view and look at what's important to your circumstances, and give documented financial advice of what you should have in place. And we search the whole of the market to find the most cost competitive provider, but who's going to provide the types of cover that you need that's important to you. Especially when you're talking about like business protection as well, there's a whole raft of complexities, trusts, things like that are involved as well.
Yeah, that hits me loud and clear. So there's no shadow of doubt that independent all the way is the way to go for flexibility of the whole market and getting the best possible product that is out there for you. That makes a lot of sense to me, loud and clear. Well, I hope I appreciate your time on this, and I really hope that someone sitting there makes them sit up and take notice and actually taking some steps to make sure they are protecting their family. I mean, as you've mentioned already, COVID-19 has brought the death, illness, critical illness all so much closer to us all. And I hope it hasn't impacted anyone particularly closely who's on here, but I'm sure there are going to be people out there who have been impacted from it, and the repercussions are quite huge. So I hope everyone does come out of this safe and well at the end of it all. But thank you so much for your time today. There's so much content in there which is really useful for people. That's so valuable. So I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Not a problem at all.